It's Miss Susan from the library, and I am here with our awesome gardener, Beaufort.
Glad to meet you.
We're going to be handing out some really awesome kits throughout the month of May and June that will help you sprout up your own beautiful bean plants. Beaufort, tell us all about it.
Okay, what I'm holding here is a scarlet runner bean plant that I planted in a little plastic cup with paper towels. Here, let me show you. See the paper towels inside? Like that. Now, they're damp paper towels. They do have to stay damp the whole time. And somehow, the moisture is what helps the beans to sprout. And I'm going to demonstrate how I set it up. Now, I have, I believe, 4 seeds in here. You can see others if I pull away the paper. Oh, here's one just starting too. I don't know, can you see if you can see it? Yeah, there's one starting just, yeah. You can see the little, it's still curled around, but it's about to straighten up like the other one that I showed you, which has already straightened up. Now, before these guys did this, which they started doing yesterday, and the smaller one today, if you look at the bottom of here, here we go. See all those white things? Those are the roots, and they started coming out first. So I just pulled that top layer of paper off, and you can see a lot of activity going on in there. So this is how it starts, and you get, if you do this process, which I'm going to show you, you get to watch that every day. Now, for a few days, for about 10 days, you won't see much, but you'll see the beans start to swell. They'll start to get a little bit larger.
Oh, do they absorb the water?
As they absorb the water.
So
Yeah.
We're really excited, and if you are interested throughout the month of May and June, we will have take and make kits where you can get all of the supplies that Beaufort is showing you right now, and you'll be able to do this at your own house. Very exciting.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started.
Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what I did to get these sprouts going. I now have a plastic cup. You can do this in a glass jar, anything you can see through because you want to see what's happening. And then you need paper towels, so I have some of these. And you need some water, which is what's in this bucket.
Okay.
Now the other thing is you don't want to drown these seeds, so you actually don't want water in the cup. You just want damp paper towels. So what I'm going to do, and I'm probably going to use about 4 or 5 of these, I'm going to dip it in the water, so now it's wet. See, it's dripping. And I'm going to squeeze it till it's really dry.
Give it a good squeeze.
And then it's what we call a damp paper towel. And now it's not very big, but I'm just going to pop it in the bottom.
So it's okay if it's kind of squished up like that because it'll loosen as you go,
squished up
right?
is fine. Squeeze it as much water out as possible, and then you have a nice damp paper towel. So I got a couple here, and it's a seed packet. You'll probably get your own seed packet. Now I'm going to plant 4 in here because you never know if they're all going to sprout. With these, every single one of them so far has sprouted, so these are good seeds.
They're nice and big too. They're big beans.
Yeah, they're really big. Let me show you so you can see them up close. Oops, there you go. Nice and big.
Easy to handle. So
Right.
they won't fall under the couch and
Right.
get lost, right?
Yeah, let me get a third towel, wet or damp. It's important, the difference between damp and wet, because they can drown, and we don't want to drown your seeds. Okay. Oh, you can see how I'm putting them in there. There's another one over here. And I've got them a little close to the edge, so I'll be able to see something when they start to sprout. Now I'm going to pop one of these damp paper towels on top. And then I'm going to get another one. I want them covered. because the moisture, well, they need to get the moisture on all sides. Now, there are some demonstrations I've seen where they just put them on top of the paper towel, but this is so much easier. You have kind of better control of the situation.
Yes, it's 3D.
Right, that way. So now you can still see them, but let's make sure there's plenty of contact. You want the paper in contact.
And will the seeds, so the stems, will they sprout out right through the paper towels?
Yeah, that's what they're doing here.
Amazing.
Look at this one. See it? They push their way up through the towels.
Awesome. So once you set it, you can just let them do their own thing and they'll work it out. Just
Yeah.
like soil, right?
Just like soil. Yes, see there? They push their way right through that top layer. Every day I check the top of this. And if it's dry on top, it's probably not dry underneath, but I'd like to keep the whole process, which has been working well, keep them all damp. Now, damp again is the key word. So let's say I decide it's dry on top, and it happens on my windowsill. This is where I kept these, on my windowsill. They tended to dry out every couple of days, but if you've got a lot of good heat or bright sun coming in, they might dry out more quickly, or if you don't have a lot of good hot sun, they might not dry out very quickly at all. So what I've been doing, and you can use a spray bottle, which probably works even better, but I would just pour a little water on the top like I just did.
Just a few drops, basically.
Ideally a few drops, but if I get a little carried away, let's say I'm not being careful, so I poured a little more on. Then I'm over the sink. Pretend this is my sink or my bucket. If there's too much water in there, it will accumulate at the bottom. Oh, I didn't put too much water. Oh, yes, I did. I can tip it over and pour the excess water out.
And there's no soil, so you don't have to worry about making a mess.
Right.
Hey. Okay.
These things will climb, these scarlet runner beans will climb up to 10 feet if you've got that much of a climbing space.
Whoa.
I've been planting them on like 5 to 6 foot teepees out in the garden out here at the library. There's a spot where I'm going to take these today or tomorrow and put them in the ground. So if you get your beans sprouted and you want to grow them, and we'll talk about what the plant is in a minute so you'll know what you're planting. You can put them in your garden if you have one, or you can put them in a big pot, again with stakes if you have one. The ideal thing for beans is what they call a teepee. So I use 6 foot long bamboo stakes, and I'll take 3 of them, make a circle, and then pull them together into a teepee like that, and with some twine, tie them at the top, and then you get a little cone of bean plants.
You could probably find that at a hardware store or something like that. They're
Yeah,
very
bean
easy to find
stakes.
if you feel like planting them. Or you could just also keep them by the windowsill where they look beautiful,
see
right?
what happens.
So
Well, they
do
won't live forever without soil.
You do need soil. That's
They will
true.
need to go in the soil if you want to keep them going. But if you just enjoy them while they last, that works too. Now, if you do decide to keep growing them, I want to show you what you're growing. These are called scarlet runner beans. They're the kind of beans, green beans, that you eat, or the dried beans. If you let them get ripe, they'll turn into dry beans, and you can make bean soup or refried beans or whatever with them. But you can also pick them when they're young, like green beans. And the wonderful thing about these scarlet runner beans is they are beautiful. They have beautiful red flowers that hummingbirds like. So if you're trying to attract hummingbirds, this is one possible way to get them into your garden if you have one. So it's a great plant. It's great for demonstration for the science project we're talking about. And it's great to grow if you have the opportunity to grow it.
And we're going to include a list of books that maybe you might want to read after you do this about growing beautiful plants and maybe even things that you can eat. So, yeah, that's wonderful. We're very excited.
Yeah.
What else? Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Well,
or is
it's
this
a
basically...
pretty simple project.
It is.
So
it is.
I put the bee. You just have to be careful with the damp as opposed to wet.
But you can always just pour it out if it's giving you a
if
hard
there's
time,
too much
right?
water, right? Exactly.
Awesome.
And then you just want to be sure to keep them damp, so they will dry out on you.
And then when you're done,
you get these.
you've got a beautiful, beautiful plant.
Right. Now, if you're growing them for a while on your windowsill, as I did, this is the first batch that I planted, and they got way too tall as these are getting, and you can see they're sort of bending over and breaking. I clipped these. I pruned them. So you can see the end here where I cut it, and then growing out of the place where I cut it will be new stems, new leaves.
Wow.
So it'll be a shorter plant, but it'll keep growing after I clip it. So if you want to keep it going on your windowsill, you could do that. Otherwise, it'll take over.
Okay,
It's
so
Jack
on the
and-
windowsill in a pot, you might want to give it a little haircut, right?
Right, like Jack and the Beanstalk.
That's
It'll
right.
grow and grow.
That's right. Well, thank you so much. This is a wonderful project, and we hope you stop by the Central Library and pick up your kit. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Awesome. Bye now.